Elon Musk asks a shocking question to all, and Donald Trump, Millionaire, and Beggar reacta. The room was electric, buzzing with attention you could almost taste. Cameras blinked like frenzied eyes. Hundreds sat in stunned silence. Every heartbeat synced with the giant screen lighting up behind Elon Musk. The tech billionaire looked calm, almost too calm. A sly grin curled on his lips. Suddenly, he dropped it. What do you truly want to know about the truth of your life? The question slammed the hall like a thunderclap. A hush fell. Then, out of nowhere, Donald Trump's eyes locked on Musk. Trump sat there, stiff, his usual bravado stripped away. His jaw clenched, his face was pale, almost haunted. Just weeks before, his empire was crumbling, scandals swirling like a storm, his wealth leaking like a cracked dam. Here he was, on the front row, a man who had built a kingdom and lost it all in whispers and shadows. Elon's invention wasn't just some toy, it was a mind reader, a device promised to unravel the deepest secrets buried in your brain. And tonight, at this packed global conference, it was about to change everything. But the air grew heavier. The audience, thousands strong, shifted nervously. Did they really want their thoughts plucked bare? The line between genius and madness seemed thinner than ever. Whispers curled through the crowd. Is this safe? What if they expose us? Some faces betrayed shock, others excitement, greed behind wide eyes. And there sat Trump, struggling visibly. His hands trembled, fingers tapping on his leg like a loaded gun. The man who once claimed total control looked desperate to hide what lurked beneath. Then, the unexpected happened. The machine buzzed, its sensors glowing like cold fire. It revealed more than thoughts. It showed motives, lies, fears, raw truths nobody meant to see. Elon's grin faded. His eyes darted, caught off guard by something darker emerging from the device. It wasn't just a mind reader. It was a weapon. One that could manipulate everything it touched. Suddenly, alarms blared. The crowd erupted in tension, panic twisting through the room like wildfire. Outside, shadowy forces moved. Hackers, spies, agents, all pushing to hijack the event. Musk's vision of transparency turned into chaos, and Trump? He leapt forward, shoulder to shoulder with the man who haunted his mind. Two enemies forced into uneasy alliance. As they fought back, peeling away layers of lies and of themselves, they stumbled on secrets too dangerous to pour into the light. Elon's motives? Not what they seemed. Trump's past? Darker than anyone guessed. And the world watched, breath held, as their personas cracked wide open. What would they sacrifice to survive? What truths would they bury deep? And which would burn bright for all to see? The device's glow flickered, warning, teasing, right before the biggest shock of all. The question hung in the air, thick and sharp. Who's really controlling the truth? Hey! Before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important warning. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube removed their subscriptions without notice. Take a quick look at the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I don't want you to miss any exclusive content that's coming. And since you're here, drop a powerful like that really helps me with the algorithm. Oh, and let me know in the comments, what city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's interact. The buzz of tension in the air thickened, each pulse echoing the question, who's really controlling the truth? But as every eye focused on the gigantic screen, it began to flicker. The bright displays of thoughts and fears twisted into shadows, as if the truth itself was trying to hide. Musk's grin collapsed. His demeanor shifted. He looked at the device in horror before a low hum filled the room. The lights dimmed, spiraling into darkness. Gasps swept through the crowd. Donald Trump stood as if frozen, his buttons popping, sweat beading on his forehead. Then it happened. A loud crack echoed from the back, followed by the sound of machinery grinding against itself. The device whirred louder, its sensors scrambling, revealing bits of information that spilled like secrets in the wind. The stakes jumped higher. An enormous explosion, a blast ripped through the conference hall, shattering glass and sending the audience into a frenzy. Chair legs screeched against the floor, bodies diving to escape. The bright lights flickered again, disorienting flashes sweeping from one corner to another. Through the chaos, a figure emerged, a tall shadow cloaked in black, moving through the haze. Musk was shouting now, words lost in the din. Trump, no longer the crumbling emperor, but a man filled with desperate focus, pushed toward the chaos. Something deep in him snapped. Maybe it was survival. Maybe something deeper. But then it was revealed. The cloaked figure pulled down the hood, and gasps filled the air once more. It was a face none of them expected to see. A young woman with defiant eyes, vibrant hair, and an unsettling calm amidst the pandemonium. It was Ivy, Musk's estranged daughter, thought lost to the shadows of his past. The room froze. "Dad!" she shouted, voice ringing with an urgency that cut through the panic. "I had to expose the truth. You don't understand what they're doing." Musk's eyes widened, flicking between his daughter and the device that's now glowing ominously. Suddenly, the machine whirred wildly, and fresh revelations bloomed on screen. Dark truths from the past, compromising details about powerful figures, including Trump. The air thickened with whispers. "No way! That can't be true." Trump moved closer, jaw tightening. "What have you done?" he spat, accusing. The former president's bravado was stripped now, vulnerability shining through cracks. Ivy shot him a look, an accusation heavy with unresolved history. With a grace that belied the chaos, she stepped forward, eyes wide, fire burning within. "This device doesn't just expose thoughts. It reveals intentions. It knows you, Donald. Your past, your failure, the lies you told to hold on to power. You're nothing without them." Shockwaves rippled through the audience. The stakes transformed from a simple display of truth into a battlefield of secrets. Trump's facade began to crumble, revealing something raw beneath the surface. The crowd murmured, faces pale, as the spotlight suddenly shifted. The question hung once more, amplifying like a heartbeat in the silence. What does it mean to control the truth when the truth itself is a weapon? Ivy stepped into the center, scanning the teetering audience, daring them to challenge her. Another flicker, and suddenly the room plunged deeper into silence. In that moment, uncertainty spread like wildfire. Everyone asked themselves what they truly knew. What were they willing to sacrifice, and who was really in command? The tension grew electric, leaving every heart thundering fiercely. As the echoes bounced off the walls, the device pulsed, teasing the next revelation, and the world outside faded away. The real battle hadn't even begun. The question hung in the air, thick and sharp. Who's really controlling the truth? Before anyone could dive into thoughts, the machine roared. The lights flickered wildly. Panic surged like a wave. Musk's device was losing control, sparking erratic images across the crowd. Then, without warning, the screen stilled, revealing a single brilliant face. It was Tasha, ELON's estranged sister. Everyone knew her as the tech prodigy who had vanished years ago, leaving only whispers behind her. Her face glowed through the chaos, eyes piercing, voice steady, yet chilling. "Hello, Elon." Gasps erupted. People exchanged wild glances, nodding in disbelief. The billionaire's calm facade shattered. A torrent of emotions crashed over him. Shock, betrayal, regret. "Tasha? How? Why are you here?" His voice trembled, a mix of disbelief and hunger. "I've been watching," she replied, each word deliberate. "All of this, your obsession with truth, it's never been about clarity. You're digging for power." The room was gripped by the weight of her accusation. Trump shifted uneasily, eyes darting between the screen and Musk. His bravado cracked. "What do you mean? What power?" Tasha chuckled darkly. "You think this device will reveal the truth? It's not the truth that will change the world, but the way you twist it." She smiled, but it wasn't warm. It was full of secrets. Then the atmosphere shifted from tense anticipation to foreboding. "You've played a dangerous game, brother. It's time for cards to be laid bare." The lights flickered again, illuminating hushed whispers and terror-stricken faces. Elon was struggling to maintain composure. "You're the one who abandoned everything. You think you can come here and lecture me? Look around, Elon. This is your creation unraveling. Feel the fear? That's because truth has teeth and it's hungry." Tasha's voice echoed, haunting, as the audience leaned in, all eyes fixed on her. Suddenly, the screen shifted again, and a series of personal data emerged. Snippets of conversations, financial secrets, hidden confessions. Each slide struck like thunder, unveiling shocking truths about some of the most powerful figures in the room. The crowd gasped collectively, their vulnerabilities laid bare in vivid detail. Then, amid the chaos, a low rumble reverberated through the hall. The walls began to tremble. Outside, shadows surged. The event had attracted dark forces ready to take control. Musk and Trump stole a glance at each other, realization dawning. This was bigger than both of them. "Why are you doing this, Tasha?" Elon's voice was strained, desperate. "What do you want?" Tasha's smile curled. It was a twist of genuine sadness and fierce determination. "You've always wanted the world to see you as the master of truth. But tonight, The truth will see you. An explosion shook the venue, sending shards of technology raining down. The audience screamed. Chaos erupted. In the smoke and dust, Tasha's face faded from view. Musk's eyes widened as he turned to grab the device, realizing its true potential. It wasn't a tool, but a curse. What did she mean? Trump shouted over the chaos, adrenaline surging as the reality crashed down on them both. The question hung there, unasked but resounding. What had they unleashed? With roars of uncertainty rising from the crowd, they faced the imminent danger together. Two figures, reluctantly united in a crumbling world of lies, secrets, and the desperate search for survival. What truth lies behind those shattered pieces? What will it cost to learn it? The explosion's echoes faded slowly, but the panic only grew. People dashed for the exits, faces masked in terror. Yet, in the chaos, Musk's mind raced, heart hammering at the confusion. What had Tasha meant? How deeply was he tied to this truth? A part of him desperately wanted to believe he was still in control. Trump stood still, jaw clenched. He was a figure of chaos now, trying not to drown in the realization that his past was surfacing like a monstrous wave. He glanced over at Musk, urgency flashing in his eyes. We need to shut this down. Whatever she's doing, it's spiraling out of control. But even as he said it, his voice trembled. Was he truly the one in charge? The device on the stage hissed, flashing images that flickered like lightning. More secrets spilled across the screen, a tidal wave of betrayals, scandals, and shadows. The crowd gasped collectively as dark whispers filled the air. Suddenly, a chilling revelation darted through his mind. Then, amidst the turmoil, a bright light cut through the haze. A shocking truth erupted from the device. You think you know me, but I'm the least of your worries. The voice rang out, sharp and certain. Without warning, a figure stepped into view, a woman with fierce eyes and a knowing smirk. It was Ivy again, but she was not alone. Behind her stood a group, shadowy figures with intent, faces hidden beneath hoods. Your world is built on lies, and tonight, your facade crumbles, she shouted. The tension in the room shifted, thickening like fog, the energy pulsing with foreboding. Musk's heart raced harder. What was happening? A part of him strained to process it all. He barely registered the crowd's stunned silence as the figures peeled back their hoods. One by one, familiar faces emerged. It was Tasha, yes, but there was another. A face so striking, so painfully familiar. His mother. The air thickened as memories surged back. Childhood laughter, a warm smile, now twisted by time. Mon? Musk gasped, disbelief choking his words. This was a woman long thought lost, believed to have vanished, swallowed by the darkness of his past. I don't understand. His mother stepped forward, eyes stormy yet resolute. You buried the truth, ELON. This device was meant to expose them, to expose you, she said, voice trembling like a leaf. But it's more, a means to control, a weapon. In that instant, the sharp crack of revelation shattered their world. Trump's face twisted in shock. Anger blended with something else, vulnerability. You lied to me, he yelled, pointing at Musk. This was your plan all along? To bring your family into this? To take me down? It was never about you, Musk thundered back, trembling with rage and despair. This was about finding what matters. But the room was electric, charged with a truth explosive enough to break the very fabric of their lives. Musk's mother stepped closer, a penetrating sadness in her gaze. Elon, you have no idea who you've really been working with. Then came the next stunning blow. The device was hacked. By me. As she uttered those words, stunned gasps erupted. The truth poured out like molten lava, altering everything they thought they knew, and every secret you've buried, every lie you've spun, your father's influence and my sacrifices, they are all connected. The lights surged with energy, one last surge, illuminating the dark. The shockwaves of emotion rippled through the audience, explosive yet fragile, risking everything. Musk felt like his world was crashing. He had always sought the truth, but it felt like he was drowning in it now. The machine sputtered, flickering warnings of deeper secrets. Tension filled the hall. Would they even survive this? Were they prepared for the truth that might destroy them all? As she opened her mouth, ready to reveal that one final secret, the power flickered. Then, darkness enveloped them. A scream ripped through the crowd, and with that, the world outside them faded into the background, leaving only silence and uncertainty. What lies hidden in the shadows, waiting to be unveiled? The question hung in the air, thick and sharp. Who's really controlling the truth? As everyone held their breath, the sharp hum of the machine transformed into a low, sorrowful whine. Then chaos. A blinding flash sliced through the auditorium, and in the blink of an eye, the lights went dark. Murmurs erupted, a wave of panic sweeping across the audience. Seconds felt like hours. And then the screen flickered back on. What it displayed left everyone frozen. Images of hidden affairs, financial scandals, a whirlwind of betrayals. Not just of Trump and Musk, but of powerful figures across the globe. Faces of world leaders, celebrities, and business moguls stared back, their secrets laid bare. Gasps glued lips shut. There, in the midst of it all, a shocking name illuminated. Ivanka Trump. A deep hush fell. Ivanka? For a moment, the enormity of the revelation paralyzed the crowd. Then the implications hit like a freight train. She was more than just a daughter. She was tied to darker dealings, high-stakes transactions that left shadows stretching across the floor. The room crackled with whispers, every eye darting around, searching for answers. Musk's mask of calm shattered. His expression turned grave. "How did this get in there?" he muttered, half to himself. The device wasn't just revealing thoughts, it had become a portal to their pasts. Raw, untamed, and dangerous. Trump's eyes darkened, a storm swirling within. "My family's loyalty," he snarled, his voice a low growl. "And you," pointing an accusatory finger at Musk, "you invited this." Before Musk could respond, alarms blared again, louder this time, drowning in a sea of confusion. The sleek doors slammed open, revealing armed figures streaming into the hall, clad in suits that screamed authority, yet embodied intimidation. A gang of agents? Hackers? Each step echoed like a gunshot, a squall of threat. It was clear They were there to reclaim the narrative, to erase any hint of a scandal from the limelight. In the swirling chaos, some audience members scrambled to hide under seats, while others raised their phones, hoping to record the absurdity of it all. Trump moved closer to Musk, their earlier tension now tangled in an unwelcome alliance born from fear. Desperation painted their faces. "Now they'll come for us!" Trump whispered harshly, eyes scanning the room, the sharpness gone from his bravado. "You think I'm scared of the truth? I fought through worse!" But this was different. Musk's heart raced, a tangled worry gnawing at his insides. "This isn't just about you anymore." Suddenly, the chaotic energy snapped as the image on the screen morphed again, now wreathed in flickering lights. It wasn't just revealing secrets, it began broadcasting a message aimed at the audience, a dire warning, a truth more devastating than anyone had imagined. "We are watching," it pulsed ominously. "Control is an illusion. Prepare for the reckoning." Then, with a deafening silence, the screen went dark. The agents paused. Their mission forgotten in the face of collective dread. Everyone felt it, a gripping certainty that the very fabric of their lives was about to unravel. In that moment, questions surged in minds. Who truly controlled the truth, and who among them was about to pay the steepest price? Tension hung thick, bodies on edge. The stage was set for a reckoning that none of them could escape. The question hung heavy in the air. Who's really controlling the truth? The room saved its breath, hearts pounding like drums. It was a moment poised on the edge, ready to tumble into chaos. ELON and Trump, surprisingly allied, glared at the device. The buzzing intensified, filling the air with an eerie hum. Then, without warning, the screens behind them flickered and revealed a new figure, a woman glowing with an ethereal light. It was a face both familiar and foreign. She smiled, but her eyes held secrets that pierced through the chaos. "Hello, everyone." Her voice sliced through the tension, silky and composed. "You've all met ELON, the master of technology, but you've never seen the truth until now." Gasps rippled through the crowd. The woman took a step forward, and it became clear. This was Callista, a name whispered in the shadows of Silicon Valley. A pioneer of technology long thought lost, rumored to have vanished into darkness. Yet here she was, alive and untethered, a calm amidst the raging storm. "What is this?" Elon's voice trembled, doubt creeping in. "You weren't part of the project." "Oh, but Elon, I was the project," she replied, her smile widening. "And everything you thought you understood? The truths you've buried are about to claw their way back into the light." The buzzing machine shifted in a violent hum, and suddenly, names flashed across the screens, all names tied to hidden deals, corrupt trades, and secrets spanning decades. The audience gasped, eyes darting. Henchmen, politicians, and CEOs, all exposed, all entwined in a web of manipulation. And then, a shock. A name flashed brighter than all others. Controlled Truth Corp. Trump's face went white. His body stiffened, as if struck. What is this?" The bravado drained from his voice. Callista smiled again, but this time it faltered. This is your truth, Donald. Your empire wasn't built on strength. It was built on dirty deals and my designs. Every move you made, you secretly worked for me. Mutters swelled among the audience. Eyes shifted. What did this mean? What had Trump been hiding? The air thickened with suspicion. Heat filled the room, a wildfire consuming the last remnants of trust. Elon reeled. You can't be serious. I had no idea. His hands were raised, trying to grasp the unraveling truths. Callista's voice grew fierce. You needed a puppet, and he needed a master. The truth isn't the only thing being controlled, gentlemen. Suddenly, the screen behind her crackled violently, and images exploded out. A montaje de Trump at clandestine meetings, whispering with figures meant to remain hidden. Promises made in shadows. The audience recoiled, eyes wide, hearts racing. This was not just a revelation. It was an attack. In that moment, the crowd moved as one. Panic surged through the hall. Chaos unleashed. People began to yell. Some ran. Others stayed, frozen in disbelief. Trump turned to Musk, anger flaring. This is your fault. You promised transparency. Don't you dare put this on me. Elon snapped back, pulse racing. You wanted the truth. Now it's out. Callista's figure loomed dark and bright, all at once. The truth is malleable. Who dares control it? You have only just begun to unravel. And the layers, they are sinking, and you cannot climb out. Then, with a flick of her hand, the device flickered one last time, pulsing with ominous energy. The audience held its breath as she leaned closer to the screen, ready to reveal yet another secret. But before her lips could form the words, the lights cut out, plunging everything into darkness. A moment of deathly silence, then screams erupted. The device sparked and fizzled, an electric storm brewing. What would happen next? Everything was about to change, and no one was safe from the truth lurking just beneath the surface. Questions erupted, panic surged, and the uncertain fate of two powerful men hung in the balance. Who truly controlled the truth? And would they survive what was about to reveal itself? The question hung in the air, thick and sharp. Who's really controlling the truth? As if summoned by the tension, a low rumble echoed through the building, vibrating through the seats. The machine pulsed ominously, intoxicating curiosity mixing with dread. Musk's expression flickered, uncertainty clouding his certainty. The audience simmered, caught in a whirlwind of emotions, fear, hope, confusion. Suddenly, the device began to screech. Dials spun out of control. People shrieked, hands covering their ears. With a blinding flash, the lights went out, plunging the space into darkness. A collective gasp surged through the crowd, heartbeats racing louder than the silence. In that terror-filled void, something shifted. And then, a boom! The lights flickered back to life. But no longer was the scene just chaos. It morphed into something out of a nightmare. Standing at the center stage, bathed in sterile white light, was someone no one expected. Melinda Hart, a former misfit tech prodigy with a past entwined with both Musk and Trump. She raised her hands, and the audience froze, a mix of horror and disbelief writ large on their faces. Enough! Her voice sliced through the noise like a blade, sharp and unyielding. I'm here to reveal the truth you all hide from. Her eyes burned with a fierce intensity, a fire long extinguished in the faces around her. Elon's mouth opened, then closed. Trump's lips twisted, caught between anger and bewilderment. Who was this woman, and how did she gain this power? Your secrets belong to me now, Melinda continued, a smirk creeping onto her face. You think you control this device, but it's not about your thoughts. It's about your fears. With a flick of her wrist, images projected behind her, memories long buried. The audience gasped, a wave of shock sweeping through like a tidal wave. A younger Elon, desperate, poring over schematics in a dimly lit basement. A scene of Trump, not as a powerful leader, but as a frightened boy kicked out of school. A moment of vulnerability, raw and heartbreaking. No, stop, Trump yelled, his voice cracking, betraying him even further. The steady facade of a titan crumbled, revealing a man who feared being exposed. Elon's eyes darted. You don't understand what you're doing. But she pressed on, unfazed. You don't understand what I have become. All your lives have been a game, but I've rewritten the rules. Suddenly, the device sparked, and a jolt of energy filled the room, igniting a new fear. It didn't just show the past, it showed deep secrets yet to come. People screamed as shadowy figures began to emerge on the screen. The room darkened again, the atmosphere thick with confusion. Musk and Trump, now side by side, exchanged frantic glances. Their shared enemy was Melinda, but she'd become something far more powerful. I hold the truth like a weapon, she proclaimed, her confidence swallowing the space. And now I will unleash it all. The crowd surged, emotions spilling over. Who was Melinda, really? What had truly transpired behind those closed doors? The tension crackled, each breath a countdown. What was her plan? Why had she returned now? As the machine pulsed ominously, flickering images of destruction and chaos intertwined with moments of hope, a new question emerged, louder than before. What truths lie buried beneath the surface? The question hung in the air, thick and sharp. Who is really controlling the truth? In that charged moment, the audience leaned in, breaths shallow, eyes wide, desperation hanging like a thread. Melinda held the crowd under her spell, weaving a tapestry of truths and lies, yet behind her confident facade, a shadow flickered. The device hummed louder, vibrating with discontent. Suddenly, it emitted a warning tone, sharp and piercing. Something's wrong, an audience member shouted, panic rippling through the crowd. The screen burst into chaotic static, images flashing erratically, distorting faces and memories, like a cosmic kaleidoscope gone mad. Melinda's expression flickered, concern breaking through her steely gaze. No, this can't happen now! Then it all shifted. The lights flickered and dimmed, plunging the room into a surreal twilight. A single spotlight illuminated a figure at the rear of the hall, moving with calm, deliberate steps. The crowd gasped collectively. It was Ivy. I've come for answers, she declared, voice steady amidst the chaos. The tension in the room tightened, a bowstring ready to snap. Musk froze, his heart racing. No, Ivy, stay back! But Ivy marched forward, igniting whispers within the audience. You've hidden the truth for too long, Dad. You think this is your creation, but you never grasped its implications. In that moment, the machine whirred ominously, and the screen flashed again, this time revealing files, emails, and videos often thought buried. The crowd gasped as a name lit up against the darkness, and the whole room seemed to inhale sharply. Callista! Trump whispered, bewildered. Yes, Callista Hart. You've all been pawns in her game, Ivy shouted, a mixture of anger and desperation. The device is a double-edged sword. It reveals and can rewrite realities. The revelation struck like lightning. Trump's jaw dropped. What do you mean? How do you know this? The crowd bristled, tension escalating. Ivy took a breath, voice shaking. Because she's my mother, not just a businesswoman, but the orchestrator of everything. She's been controlling what you see, what you believe. The audience erupted in disbelief. Gasps tripped over each other like falling dominoes. The scrutinizing gaze of truth morphed into confusion, frustration, fear. And as if summoned by the chaos, the device began sparking, flickers of energy crackling ominously. Melinda's face twisted in horror as the chaos escalated. No, 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 no. The air around them thickened. Then, without warning, the shadows behind Ivy shifted, and another figure emerged, a man, cloaked in the darkness, face hidden beneath a hood. He stepped into the light, moving slowly, deliberately. Enough! His voice boomed, cutting through their revelations. You've meddled long enough. The room shuddered as the audience held their breath. Musk felt sweat bead on his forehead. Who was this man? Then it broke. A blinding surge of light erupted from the device, washing over them all, a wave of pure energy. When the light receded, the man stood tall, a familiar face etched with familiarity and wronged memories. Elon's long-lost brother, Ethan. Silence cascaded down, thick and stifling, as realization crashed over Musk. Ethan? You? But I thought I was dead? Or just a shadow? I was watching from the sidelines, knowing what was to come. He cut in, laughter empty yet bitter. And now it's time to unveil the horror of your delusions. A sudden wave of tension snapped. The truth of the family shattered, ripped into pieces. Elon felt the walls closing in. The stage lost its solidity. Everything nothing but smoke and mirrors. The crowd buzzed with uncertainty. Questions arose, wild and frantic. Was everything a lie? What did this mean for each of them? I'm here to reclaim the narrative, Ethan continued, eyes intense and fierce. The truth has always been mine to control. As he stepped forward, the device buzzed louder, and the spotlight flickered again. The chill of a cold realization ran through the crowd. No one knew who held the reins of their truths anymore. A stifling silence blanketed the room. What now? Whose side were they on? What twisted alleys lay ahead of them? This was no ordinary confrontation. This was the nexus of their fates, and nothing would ever be the same again. The room held its breath as Ethan stepped forward, shadows swirling around him like mist. The air crackled with tension, a looming storm threatening to unleash chaos. The truth has always been mine to control. His words twisted through the crowd. each syllable dripping with the weight of a hidden agenda. Elon felt his heart pound against his ribcage. Ethan's face, etched with pain and resentment, was a mirror of everything he'd once sought to escape. Emotions fought for dominance within him. "Why now?" he managed, voice trembling. "What do you even want?" Ethan laughed, a jarring sound. "You think this is about me wanting something? This is about the truth finally coming home." He turned to the audience, eyes burning. They all thought they were being played, but the puppeteer was someone else entirely. Before anyone could react, the device on stage emitted a low hum, vibrating through the floor and sending shockwaves of unease racing through the audience. The figure in the shadows stepped closer, revealing not just a face, but a hidden reality that had stayed buried. It wasn't just Ethan. Behind him, another familiar silhouette emerged, cloaked in darkness. The lights flickered, revealing the unmistakable features of Elon's mother. She stood alongside him, eyes sharp, voice ringing clear. "I told you, Elon, this isn't just about you anymore." Gasps filled the air as disbelief rippled through the crowd. Melinda's once composed facade crumbled further. "What is happening?" she spoke, voice quaking. But before anyone could piece together the chaos, the screen erupted into vivid images. Secrets layered upon secrets, dark truths about Elon, messages hinting at betrayals more profound than anyone could dare to imagine. Whispers of a clandestine plan unfurled. Each revelation worse than the last. Musk's head spun, dread tightening in his chest. This was not just family drama. It was a malice that cut deep. Images morphed, revealing a monstrous truth. His mother and Ethan had orchestrated everything. They had been playing the long game. Each move, each betrayal, just pieces on the chessboard. "You're connected to this," Elon gasped, fingers trembling. "You were never lost. This was all your plan." "Yes," Ethan thundered, a fire in his eyes. "When I saw you throw away everything for some ideal of truth, I knew it was time to bring you back to where you belong." The room erupted in noise, shouts, questions, disbelief. Trump stood frozen, a spectator now, grappling with his own secrets as Musk faced the truth of his own life. "You wanted control," he yelled at his brother. "A game you never meant me to win." But as they clashed, something shifted in the air, heavier and darker. The device swung wildly, screens flashing, images no one was prepared for. And then, a jarring sound, a gunshot. Every eye turned to the source, shock rippling through the hall. A figure in the back, someone everyone thought were simply a spectator, had pulled the trigger. A woman, familiar yet alien, brandishing a weapon. It was Ivy. Her eyes were empty, void of the warmth they'd seen moments before. "I've had enough of this," she screamed, voice raw, drowning out the chaos. "You don't understand. You're all playing with forces much greater than yourselves." As she spoke, the device sparked violently, lighting up the darkened room like a strobe. Truths twisted and twirled into darkness. Relationships fell apart. Confusion ruled. Ivy held the weapon firm, face twisted in rage. "You think you can control the truth? Think again. I will break it all down." Tension broke, a wave crashing over everyone. Fear melded with uncertainty. Was anyone safe? What had Ivy come to reveal in this final act of desperation? The air thickened, tension drawn so tight it felt like a live wire about to snap. And then, darkness engulfed them again. What truths would emerge from the shadows now? What sacrifices were they willing to make just to uncover it? As silence settled like a heavy cloak, the weight of uncertainty pressed heavy, leaving the audience trembling on the edge of revelations yet to come. The silence pressed down like an anvil. Ivy's grip tightened on the weapon, but something flickered in her eyes, uncertainty masquerading as resolve. "You think this is just about you?" she shouted, voice trembling, the rage boiling beneath her surface, bubbling over. "You don't even see what you're part of." Elon stepped forward, heart pounding like a drum. "Ivy, put it down! It's not worth it!" He reached out, desperate. "We can stop this together." But Ethan scoffed, stepping closer. "You think you can save her? You've lost control long ago. Just look around." He gestured at the crowd, every face caught between shock and fear. The screen buzzed back to life, images flashing, every secret laid bare, not just of them, but of lives intertwined in a web too thick to escape. "This is chaos!" Melinda cried out, trying to regain authority. "Everyone will pay the price." Suddenly, another voice rang out, Trump, desperate. "You don't realize what this means. Our lives are at stake." The vulnerability in his tone cut through, revealing cracks in the once mighty facade. In that fragile moment of chaos, Ivy's face softened, doubt flashing in her eyes. "No one ever listened, did they?" She turned, grappling with her own fury and hurt. "You can't keep pretending." Beneath the weight of her words, a collective fear surged through the audience. They murmured, whispers wrapping around them like a tightening noose. Each person in that room was a witness to a soul laid bare, their truths colliding, splintering in the light. With a swift motion, Ivy aimed the weapon downwards, adrenaline pounding in her ears. "I won't let you control this anymore. Not together. Not ever." Her voice broke, trembling with the weight of every word. In that heartbeat, the device emitted a roar, a cacophony of gathered energy ready to explode. The screen glitched, images merging, faces morphing into a kaleidoscope of truth and lies. With a deafening crack, a stream of light surged forth, illuminating every dark corner of their connection. Musk shielded his eyes, feeling warmth against his skin. "Ivy, no, this isn't the way." But as shadows around her writhed, something changed. The light wrapped around Ivy, a pulsing glow building strength. She blinked, the surprise washing over her. And then silence fell, thick like fog. Each breath marked the moment, anticipation building like a drumbeat. The device froze, then revealed a single image. Everyone, including the audience, in vivid snapshots shared. Secrets spinning into the air like leaves in a storm. Their vulnerability stripped bare. It wasn't just a weapon. It was a mirror, reflecting the deepest truths of every life entangled. Panic surged among the crowd. Gasps echoed. Eyes widened. Trump stumbled back, shouting, "No, this can't be happening." Melinda's face twisted, holding fear and anger in equal measure. But in that blinding moment, Ivy's face shifted, clarity sweeping in. We've been fighting over scraps while the truth has lingered, waiting. We must expose it all, or be consumed. Her words broke through the noise, igniting something in the hearts of all present. Musk glanced at his mother and brother, the realization creeping in, could they truly unify against the shadows? With one resolute nod, ELON declared, "Together we can make this right." And with hesitation vanishing like smoke, Ivy lowered the weapon. Take a breath like awakening dawn. The device hummed, now a beacon of hope, flickering with promise. In that moment, a wave of understanding swept through the hall, bringing a collective sigh of relief. The truth didn't disappear, it transformed. Would it resolve the chaos around them? No one knew, but they'd face it together. The audience slowly began to share glances of support, hope flickering amidst uncertainty. As the lights dimmed softly, reality crashed in. The air still felt electric. They saw it wasn't just their battle, it was the world's. A final twist in the truth remained, waiting just out of sight. So, what would happen next? Answers lingered just beyond reach. You don't want to miss what's coming next. You have to subscribe now to the channel. This is the moment to show your support. Smash that like button now to help with the algorithm. Flood the comments with your reactions and theories about this wild ending. And don't wait even a second longer to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this ending. Your engagement is everything. Together, we'll uncover every truth.